Saint Cyprian lived in Carthage in the 3rd century. He had some very interesting things to know on the topics of baptism, rebaptizing those who were baptized outside of communion with the church, and also aspects of adhering to the demands of the Pope. So in 252, a plague broke out that took a heavy toll on all in the city. Cyprian was tireless in caring for these victims, Christian and pagan alike. At another time, he, with the other African bishops, was involved in a controversy with the Bishop of Rome over the rebaptism of heretics concerning returning to the church. Rome received such by chrismation only, while Cyprian and the African bishops received them by baptism as well. The African Church held 3 local councils which upheld the practice of receiving non-Orthodox by baptism and chrismation together. Cyprian wrote concerning Pope Stephen's arrogance in demanding that all submit to his practice. None of us makes himself a bishop of bishops or tyrannically tries to frighten his colleagues into obeying, since every bishop is incapable of being judged by another. Let us wait for the universal judgment of Christ. The controversy was cut short by a new persecution under Emperor Valerian in 257. Cyprian was arrested and banished to Surubius, a pleasant small town 50 miles from Carthage. In 258, the persecution increased and clergy were threatened with death, not just banishment. Cyprian returned voluntarily to Carthage and was arrested. At his trial, the governor asked, "Are you Thasius Cyprian, the bishop of so many impious men? The emperor commands you to sacrifice to the gods." Of course, Cyprian would not sacrifice to the gods. Later, he was beheaded and entered into eternal joy. The faithful took his relics and buried them with honor, and he suffered for Christ in 258. But what is notable related to recent discussions and online studies and learning is the fact that Cyprian and the African bishops were very much opposed to the idea that heretics who were outside the church and had received a baptism outside the church would enter the church, the Orthodox Church, through chrismation only. The ruling of at least the African councils was, which are local councils in this case, were that all heterodox coming into the Orthodox Church should be received by baptism and chrismation. This was a ruling in the 3rd century. And note that both Cyprian and the African bishops saw no reason concerning the Pope or concerning Pope Stephen's arrogance in demanding that they submit to his practice. It was not a practice in the 3rd century that a bishop, the bishop should consider himself a bishop of bishops. That Rome had no ecclesiastical authority to tell the bishops of North Africa that they must submit to his will, or they must submit to his ruling. And so the response to that one more time is that none of us makes himself a bishop of bishops or tyrannically tries to frighten his colleagues into obeying, since every bishop is incapable of being judged by another. Let us wait for the universal judgment of Christ. And of course, this is the same awaiting that we still go through today, we within the church. Hopefully, in cases where lay people have been affected by this, those bishops will answer for that and not the people themselves, since the people had no, whether they wanted to be baptized or not, they had no say. They had no authority to request this. So, I hope, and my belief is that responsibility, that care will lie with the bishop. The bishop is the one who will answer for that on the judgment seat. So you guys have a good day, and I will talk to you in a video coming very soon.